over the left and drops the challenger.
Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet. Airs it out down the field. It is caught by Tyree. Just attack the basket. James catches, puts on the throw. Go, go. Back out to Allen. Mystery dribble back. Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. Anything possible.
Welcome to another episode of Flagrant Sports. Here with us today, we got Dante Bailey. Hey, Dante. I just want to say a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Dante Bailey. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, the west side of Chicago, because, you know, we go by sides out there. And I'm a professional basketball player.
All right, awesome.
Okay, so you play for Armenia, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So you also played college for Langston. What's the difference in the skill gap between college and playing over there?
The skill gap is way different because, you know, Langston is one of the top NAIA schools in the country. So NAIA, for people that doesn't know, is lower than Division I and Division II. I also played Division I, but it didn't go so well. So I went to Langston. You know, it was a different environment. I loved it because it's an HBCU. I always wanted to go to one, but the difference is the talent. You know, when you go overseas, you know, kids have been playing professional, I want to say maybe since they was 11 or 12. So, like, you gotta learn pretty fast. So if you're gifted, you're good, but sometimes you still have to work to play that. So that's the difference, I'll say, IQ and skill between Langston and Armenia, because there's also other Americans that's been there for, I want to say, 3 years or been professionals for 17 years. So
Yeah. So you said that they some of them have been playing at a high level since they were young. Is it kind of over there, kind of like how soccer is, where they have them in a club as a young age?
Oh yeah, like they start really, like, a lot of them was telling me, like, if they can walk and talk, they're already in the club. Like, they go from club to club to see what's the best club for them. And I'm not sure if they get paid for it, but like we had two 16 and 15-year-olds on our team, and you talking about grown men and like throwing them in the fire, but you know they can hold their own because they're smart and they know the game and they've been playing so long.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
What was the hardest part of like adjusting to life in Armenia?
The hardest part, to be honest with you, was my sleep schedule and then the food, you know what I mean? But I got accustomed to it because, you know, you're so used to eating American food, and then you go to a different culture. It's like, oh, they don't have like the things we cook with, like, you know, certain cooking ingredients and stuff is way different. And then the time schedule, like, I was a day ahead of people. So like, it was hard for me to talk to people and it was hard to adjust. Then it took 2 days to get there. So I would say the time and the food.
So I could follow up with that. What was the best part about life in Armenia?
The best part was, you know, interacting with other Americans that I've seen on the circuit as growing up. And then I also had a pretty cool veteran. He played in the NBA a few years back, and this was his 17th year of playing. Oh, wow. So he doesn't know if he wants to stop. So that in basketball was great, and the city was a whole was beautiful. I like the city; it's beautiful.
Awesome.
Cool. And do people mainly speak English there, or is there like a language barrier?
No, it's like so they're next to Russia, so they speak Russian and they speak Armenian.
Okay.
You catch a few people that speaks English, so it was like pretty much hard to communicate with people because all they do is look at you all day. So it's like you have to do sign like, do you want a picture or what do you want? Because like they don't see many African Americans over there. So I was asking people like, why do they stare all day? What's this? Because this is my first time overseas and over there. So they're like, they just want to know if you're real. Like to them, it's like a myth. They don't see much.
Yeah.
So they just want to see you, talk to you, and then they try to learn English and stuff, and then they teach you Armenian a little bit. So.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Do you feel like the style of play is different from over there? Do you feel like they have a different way of playing basketball?
Yeah, like I had to learn very fast. Like I had a decent coach. So like me coming from where I'm from, like it's like proving. I thought you know what I'm saying, I always have a chip, always have to do this and do that. So like their style of play is more like, okay, set it up, give it to the point guard. Okay, 15 seconds left, run a pick and roll, stuff like that. But over here, you know, it's more basically one-on-one team oriented. It's team over there, but it's more structured team, if that makes sense. Like, you know, pass the ball around a few times, run this play, run that play. If the play breaks down, get the ball to the point guard. It's not more like if the play breaks down, you got the ball, you go do your thing, even if you can. So I had to learn that pretty fast, you know what I mean? Because the play will break down and I'll try to go, you know, I'll go get a bucket. Coach is like, that's good, but we really still want the ball in the point guard's hand for him to make the decision, which was fine. I just had to learn that.
Like the Spurs, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's how overseas is really is. It's like, okay, you might have a good shot, but this shot will be better. You know what I'm saying? Even if you do shoot good, it's like an extra pass, just like the Spurs, like extra.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
makes
There's not a lot
sense
of room
too.
for, like,
Yeah.
extra ball.
Yeah, it's like that. Like even if you watch the cup games, you know, FIBA, all the teams are like that. That's overseas. But you look at United States, we'll run a few plays, but it's more like one-on-one basketball. And that's what this guy on my team explains. Like, you're a great player, but you just can't play one-on-one all the time. But okay.
Yeah, that makes sense with the Spurs too, since they had such a strong European.
Culture. Yeah. The European culture is very,
and a lot of their and Manu Ginobili and a lot of the European people on the team.
Tony Parker, Patty Mills. Yeah, that
makes sense.
That's why they always make those one extras, and that's why they win. To be honest, like that's how you win the game of basketball. Not being selfish, which you have to learn that if you want to play at that level or a level above. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like that style of play is like complemented the way you play, or did you have to adjust to playing to that?
Actually, what was crazy was the coach made it fit my criteria. You know what I mean? Because obviously you brought me over there to score. You know what I'm saying? If you bring an American, you're telling you're giving them the keys to the kingdom. So, I mean, at first it wasn't. So he had to realize, like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do for him. So we started just putting pieces together, and he'll let me, like, go on a stretch. Like, if I'm hot, go on a stretch and do whatever I do. But then if, like, let's say I miss 2 shots, okay, now get back to orientate. So I knew how to do both, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah. How did you get over there? Like, did you have people scout you while you were in college that maybe called you over there, or how did that come?
What's crazy was when I was at Langston, I was on a few people's radar, you know, as in agencies and stuff like that. Like, realistically, what was supposed to happen when I went to out of junior college, I went to UT Martin, and I was gonna go try to play for a draft that year. You know what I'm saying? So I had people reaching out, telling people this and that. So I ended up signing with this one agency. Wasn't the best choice. You know, we all make bad choices. So I ended up signing with the one I'm with now, One Motorsports. And at first, I went to the Mavericks training camp with the G League. Didn't make it. It was a one-day thing. I thought it was 2 days. So I had to play a total of 9 games from 9 in the morning to 6 at night. I told me by myself. So, like, the first group I came in, I had to beat that first group. I beat that first group. The second group, they already rested from days before, so I had to come in and try to beat that group. I made it, but at the end of the day, they was like, well, we can't use you right now. It's not a good fit, blah, blah, blah. So after that, my agent was like, you know, something's going to happen, you know. So that's when we needed film. So I recommend anybody, if you're trying to play anywhere, you need quality film. Like, okay, I had the college film, right? All-American, everything. But you have to get professional film to at least go overseas, especially coming from an NAIA level. If you didn't, you know, if people are not going to trust in you. So I went to this thing called TBS, the basketball league, one of the top American leagues. I did very good over there. I did very good. It's actually in the States. I played for Kentucky Thoroughbreds. And that's when they put a tape out on me, and then that's when teams start getting interested in, oh, who's this kid, who's this, blah, blah, blah. And Armenia was the first team to call. But, like, Germany and stuff showed interest, but Armenia was the first team to call, and I was like, yeah, let's take the deal. And my agent just did a good job with that, I would say, because there's camps, exposure camps, but if they really want you, they're going to look for you. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what they did. They looked for me. And like first time overseas, now it's like film. Now I don't have the film. Now I'm having interest from a lot of people now, but they know, okay, he played here. And now he went overseas and did that. So that's how they pretty much found out about me.
That's really cool.
Gotcha.
So what were some of the other teams you were looking for? Like, who were some of the other teams that were scouting you?
That I wouldn't know because in college you can't really entertain that. You can hear it, but you can't really like condone into it. You know what I mean? Because people were telling me, okay, we can get you a workout for Orlando. Just come to Florida. We can get you a workout with Miami. We can get you a workout with the Bulls. Like it was in those criteria, but I mean, you can't really talk to agents or talk to people because 9 times out of 10, like if you do get caught, then my college eligibility.
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be terrible. Yeah.
So where do you feel like you go from here? Like, what are your plans like for the future of your basketball career?
Basketball career, I want to try to make it to either back to G League or get to the NBA. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, you can make a killing overseas. You just got to be in the right fit in the right teams in the right country. Like I'm getting a lot of interest from Germany, Russia, Spain, Serbia, and Malta. So I've been getting interest in them, but it's all about, I have a daughter, so it's all about what I can do for her, like what help me feed her. So with that career, I just want to play at least until I want to say 40 with the style of game I play, at least 40, 45. So I really want to try to get to the NBA again, but if it doesn't happen, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Because I did what I did. I have a little legacy overseas, so that's fine too.
For sure. How was y'all's season? Like, I know with the coronavirus, are y'all playing? I know NBA had to stop. Are y'all?
Yeah. What was about that? What was crazy is like you take a little break. So I really wasn't supposed to come back until like mid-April. Yeah, mid-April, and we stopped March, like the beginning of March, like because we were supposed to have the playoffs and then we were supposed to have the cup. So we didn't even get a chance to do that. And we had like 2 games regular season because at first we were talking about it, made the committee, the refs was like, okay, if we do it, nobody can be in the gym, just the players, the coaches, no fans. And then the refs came to the point where we're like, no, we don't want to do it. Like, no, I don't want to do that. So they were holding out. And at the time, I want to say 3 or 4 people had the case out there. So, overseas, they take precautions quick. Like they were shutting everything down. So they end up shutting it all the way down to where like you couldn't even go outside. Only thing you can do is go to the store. So like for the Americans, they stopped transportation and everything. But you had to show papers that, okay, I'm leaving. Like, but they gave you a certain amount of days to leave before they closed the actual country down. They had to close the country down. No in, no out. So.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, especially that far away. No parents, no brothers, no sisters.
Yeah, that must be pretty scary.
Yeah, it was. I was terrified because a lot of people were telling me like, "Oh, you can't get back in the country." I was like, "That's impossible. I'm an American citizen." But they was like, "Nah, if you don't do this, you won't leave." So I ended up calling my aunt. She's very good with stuff like this. So she was like, "No, you're an American citizen. You always can get back in." So I ended up getting back home safe and sound. And that time it only took me a day. They got me home that day. So
good. That's good. And do you live in Armenia normally, or do you just live there for like the season and then come home? Or do you?
No, it was just for the season. Like you just go over there for the season.
Okay.
And then you come back home. Yeah. So like I ended up leaving. I was actually working out in Dallas the whole summer, and I ended up coming to Atlanta because I've never been, and I want to see my mom before I leave. It's a big trip, so you gotta see your mom before you leave. Came out here and then left October 5th and was out there for like 8 months. Dang. So it was a tough stretch. Like I prepared myself for it because I went away to school. I went everywhere, you know what I mean? But being a day ahead of people is really hard. So
yeah, I bet.
That's rough.
Yeah, I wouldn't even thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, bro. Like that's why I say anybody that went overseas, I commend you because it's tough. It can get tough because that's when you find out who are real people in your life because you can't talk to people every day. you're asleep, I'm up. So it's tough like that. So.
Right. That's always the argument that people say, like, well, if the college players want to get paid, why don't they just go overseas? And going overseas doesn't seem like it's just a cakewalk.
No, it's not, bro. It's really not, especially for a college kid. I don't care if you're a high major, top 5 pick. Like it's hard because you got to think about it. You coming over there into their country, so those people are already made. You're getting paid more than them. You're playing more than them. So like people are not going to treat you the same. You have some good people that's over there like, yeah, I'll take you here. I'll show you this, show you the ropes. But you're really by yourself unless it's another American. Most teams only allow 2 to 3 Americans on the team. So you 3 just got to stick it out. You get some cool foreigners, Luckily, I had a cool – Albert was very cool. Like, he's Armenian and Russian. Like, he showed me everything from, downtown to the bad parts, and everything. But his dad's Armenian, his mom Russian. So it's pretty cool, but it's hard. It's really hard for a kid in general because, like, also, like, let's say you're the man, like you play real good in college, you go over there, you're not going to be the man because they have somebody that's been there in that country for like 7 years on their team. So you're fighting with him, and they're going to always give him the green light. Like, they might tell you this and that, but you still have to defer your game to that until the coach realistically let you, okay, we got to let this kid be him. So it doesn't matter what your name is, who you are, you're going to be this pick, you come over there, it's like a whole culture, different world, everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know, like, in soccer in Europe, there's regulations. Like, if you're like bottom 3 in the league, you get demoted the next year. Is it like that in basketball? Yeah,
it's the same thing, but yeah, if you're bottom 3, they don't do much with you. But if you're the top, let's say you consistently win each year, they're going to try to get you to a higher league, more money, more sponsors, and stuff like that, which is good. That's why a lot of people try to win as much as possible over there because that helps your career out, that helps the coach career out, and that's when you get to start playing nationally. Like, you'll play like on a national stage against national teams, USA teams, the top teams and stuff, which will help you in the long run because now you're on TV for a country. And then what I heard is the mentor guy I told you guys I had, Rasheem Wright. Yeah. He's half Jordanian, which is crazy because he's an American. But he played so much for Jordanian that he did so much. He played national this, national that, and they were winning. They weren't good until he got there. So they end up giving him a citizenship. So he's half Jordanian, half American.
Oh, wow. That's really
that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I want to do something like that for a country or something. You know what I mean? That'd be pretty cool to say you're half something.
Oh, yeah. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. That was the first time. I didn't believe him until, like, we brought it up. It shows our whole team, and it was like it had a flag, American flag, and another flag, and it was a Jordan. He said, "Yeah, I'm half Jordanian." I said, "How you do that?" It's like, bro, if you do what I did for that country, then they'll give you citizenship. It's all about what you do. So, wow. So he has a legacy basically there.
And how do the people react to you there? Like, are the like the Americans that come in, are they well known, like, to the public, like the basketball fans? Or
what's crazy is, like, over there, they just started letting Americans come in for 2 years. This was their second year they let Americans come in. So you have some kids, they watch your first game, so they find out who you are. And then after that, it's like they want a picture with you. They want your autograph. They want your sleeve. They want your jersey. And they become big fans. You know what I mean? At first, it's like they're like, oh, there's basketball here. Oh, we have Americans here. So they think we come off rude, but we're not rude. We just don't talk because we don't know if you speak English or anything. So, you got kids coming up to you every day asking for a picture, or they see you on the street. When's your next game? And all this and all that, because it's free for them to come in. So we shoot with them halftime or before the game and stuff like that. So they're becoming big over there. They're becoming big over there.
So are Americans kind of seen, like, to the public in Armenia, when an American comes in, it's like a big deal?
Yeah,
they kind of see them as a different class of player?
Yeah, it's like a rock star, bro. Like, you're like, for them, like, you're their LeBron. Like, I'm walking downtown Armenia, and everybody's like, wow, who's this? And I'm like, Albert, like, I'm just a normal person, bro. He's like, no, like, you're a basketball player. They love you guys. So it's like they want pictures, like, and everything. Like, as soon as I got off the airport, it was crowded full of people. Like, it was crowded. But just
Dang.
embracing. It was great though. It was
That's
great.
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see on movies, I thought that was only on movies, but
That's kind of like
Yeah.
type of relationship you don't really get in the States because
At all.
basketball is such a huge phenomenon. You don't get the close-knit, like intimate, like relationships between like the kids and the players. It's
Community.
usually like every now and then a kid goes up to a player and is like, oh, and like the player will just throw out like a salute, not even looking at them. But it seems like there you kind of almost get to know them on a personal basis.
Yeah, that's what I like about overseas versus, playing in America, because I love fans and I love kids, you know what I mean? So like when they come up to you, it's just like you want to do everything for them. Like you don't want to shut them off. You want to sign, you want to do this. And like you said, I got to know a lot of children over there. Like it was to the point where like I was giving them stuff like, shoes, I'll go get them food, clothes or whatever, because you get to know them and you see them at the game every day. I ask them, have you ate today? No, how's your day? And the younger generation is speaking English. You know what I mean? They're learning it.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that, like that I love about overseas, that you get to interact with people and you make a close bond. Like they find you on Instagram, they find you on Facebook. Like it could be a little picture, like the littlest picture you post is good. And like I tell people, you don't never know what no one's going through. So I always wave or hug them. So that's what I was doing over there. And every time I see them, they're like, can I have a hug, please, please, please? Can I have a handshake, please? So it's just like that brightens their day, because they can have a bad day up until they see you. Mm-hmm. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I love about it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned you have a daughter. Does she go to school there when you're there, or?
No. Like my daughter's she's 19 months right now, so she's.
Okay.
So they're in Dallas. So it's it hurt me to the core because I missed her birthday. I told her I would never miss her birthday, but she understands. She knows who I am. She calls me at 19 months. She's very smart, like a 5-year-old. So I talk to her every day. Like that's the person that I would not go to sleep for, stay up. It doesn't matter, day ahead, whatever. She calls them there. I'm asleep. She calls them there. So it was hard, but now as she gets older and if I'm still transitioning overseas, I'm going to have her come every time. But she's going to, they're going to have to send her schoolwork, which would be like, it'll be computer work. You know what I mean? So, cause I'm going in October, like, so that is school time. So like, yes, I want her to come visit, but I don't want her to miss too much school, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but she wanted to come over. She wanted to come, but me personally, I didn't think it was ready for a baby yet, because that's a lot of time in the air. Yeah. And, she's only 19 months, so that'll be hard for a baby. So like I was gonna wait till she's like 3 or 4. Hopefully that time I'll be progressing to the league. But if not, then I'll still be overseas. And of course, I would love for her to come over there, enjoy. She could tell people, my dad sent me here. I was over here at a young age and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's cool. Those are cool stories to tell.
Man, sure. Man, it's pretty good. Yeah.
So, who's the hardest player you've ever had to go up against
in my life?
Yeah.
Jabari Parker.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Me and JP had some battles in high school, man.
Awesome.
It was actually 2. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Jabari Parker and Ryan Boatwright.
He played for UConn, right?
Yeah, very good, very crafty. We played him in the playoffs, and the day before that, like he was talking crazy, and it was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it was my junior year, his senior year. We ended up beating them to go to super national, not super national, but to go to one game tour state. So it was that was hard because he made the first play of the game, he dunked. So every time he dunks, it's like he's going for 30 and above, especially the first play. And he only ended up with, I want to say, 20, maybe a little less. And then we made it state and we played Jabari Park, and everybody's like, he's this freshman phenom and all this and all that. But to me, it's like, it's another, I know Jabari, so it's like, it's my buddy. So he was pretty good as a sophomore. He was pretty good. So I would say that was one of the toughest. But I played a handful of NBA prospects. So I played a handful.
Wow.
But those two would say one of my toughest.
Gotcha.
I find it's crazy how like even someone, and no disrespect to Jabari Parker, but he's not like in the same tier with like
Right.
Giannis and all that. But it's insane just how someone who's even like just like a like a starter or just maybe even a bench player would destroy the average person in a
would kill. That's what I tell people. Like that you brought that up. A lot of people, okay, let's say Jared Dudley for example. Everybody's like, oh, he's terrible. But if he comes to a wreck near you, he will kill you because
Drop 100.
he has so much access to the world's best things. Like it's just those people are more athletic than him. Those people are better than him. So if you bring him with other people, he will kill them. You know what I mean? He will make them look like, oh, dang, he's real good. Like, why is he not doing that in the league? But he doesn't work as hard as like the LeBrons, the Giannis's, the Kobe's, the KD's and stuff like that. So that's what I was telling people. Like the last man on the bench will give you buckets easy. And a lot of people don't believe that until it comes into effect. I was like, because they do stuff different than us, bro. They eat better than us, train different than us. So, and they've been playing against the best of the best, and whether it's in practice or it's in a real game. If you don't see him in the game, 9 times out of 10, he can really play. He's there for a reason.
So I saw a video of it was an old video of Brian Scalabrine. He's a complete meme. Everyone likes to jokingly say he's like the greatest ever. But like he heard these like I think it was like AA like college kids were like talking trash to him. He goes and actually goes to them, plays both of them, and beats them.
And beat him, yeah. And those kids probably like, oh, he play because he doesn't do good in it. It doesn't matter because once they come to normal life, they will kill you, bro. I've seen it plenty of time. The last man will not play in the game, but can play. He can really play. It's just those kids are better than him. That's ahead of him. They're way better than him.
Yeah, doing average in the NBA is like destroying any sort of like
any black top,
any recreation, anything like. And you look up like, oh, this guy had 50 in the recreation. How do you do that? He can't even do it in the league. It's the talent. His talent is way higher than yours. But in the NBA, it's average because he doesn't work as hard as the next man. So that's why he's the last man.
And you get these guys like Jimmer, who like I feel like he's still going to get a shot in the NBA, but like he was maybe a 6-man at best for what it seemed like he could do in the NBA. But he goes over to China and he's like Steph Curry.
Yeah. That's because the competition, like Jimmer can play, but in the NBA, it's way different. Speed's different, talk is different. So, but that too, a lot of people that's playing overseas, they're making better money. You know what I mean? So that's why they'll probably choose that. That's why Jimmer probably like, no, I'm making millions of dollars here. Why would I make this much in the NBA if I'm not playing? So I'd rather play and make millions of dollars. So. I mean, I can respect that too. At the end of the day, it's really all about money and taking care of, being taken care of.
We saw Jimmer play in the basketball tournament. Have you heard of that?
The
TBT. Yeah, and all those players were amazing. Even though they're not even in the NBA, they could destroy anyone.
They can play like anybody can get destroyed in there. And those are and people don't realize those are former overseas players or people that played in college but never furthered their career, but they can play with the best. You know what I mean? It's just they never got that chance or something like that. Because it's all politics. It's all about who you know, not what you know. It's all about who you know at the end of the day. So.
I saw Nate Robinson is going to be in it this year.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's good because he can play. Yeah, he can really play. So he's trying to work his way back into the NBA. But the way it's going is more of a big point guards, more big. He's athletic, but he's not tall enough to be it. So
I don't know. Greg Oden, who they were going against, and that's one person where I feel like even still, I don't know if it's appropriate to call him a bust just because of the injuries and all that. And I don't realize how much of a toll injuries really take on someone.
It takes a lot, especially knees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your knees is what keeps you mobile, what keeps you running, what keeps you doing this and that. So if you don't have those, especially at the highest level, of course you're gonna look like a bum, you're gonna look like a bust. But if you go a tier lower, now you look like you're the best player, but he can't keep up with them because his body won't let him. Like I agree with you on that. Like I wouldn't call him a total bust either. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Have you ever experienced any like rough injuries?
Yeah, I actually it was my freshman year of college. I tore my meniscus, and I knew it because I was getting heavily recruited. I was at the time I was at Missouri State West Plains, one of the top junior colleges in the country. This was after I left prep school. So we were playing. I went up to dunk, and we had a 7-footer. He knocked me out the air. At this time, I wasn't strong, probably like 195, little, and my legs, I couldn't catch my legs, and one of my legs went back, and I knew something happened, but I didn't want to face reality. So it was like, I told our staff later, I was like, I think I need to go get my knee checked. Like, it's swelling, it keeps going out on me, I can't move laterally and this and that. And that's when Purdue came, and they were like, what's up with you? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you not moving? You're not agile anymore? Like, what's up? So if they notice, maybe I do need to go check it. So I went to go get it checked, and she was like, ACL is perfect. And that's the only thing I was worried about, because, that's very hard to come back. And she was like, but your meniscus, it's a tear, so they're going to have to go in there. Michael Saffold will do it. And they went in there and did it, and, I was out I just sat out for the whole season because, like, at that time, that was my first time with a serious injury, especially to my knee. So it was like, I was very depressed, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, to watch everybody play, and that was my first time not ever playing. I always played, sprained ankle, broken hand, whatever, broken finger, whatever. I was always gonna play, but I literally couldn't walk. I was on crutches. So when I did that, it was like, it's crazy. It was an eye opener. For me, it was a really eye opener when I had that, and it tore. Like today, it still is like, I don't want to say it bothers me or nothing because it's strong, but when you look back on those memories, you like, things could be taken away like that. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
But eventually, I'll be good though, because let's say just keep working it, and I'll be straight. Like right now, stronger than ever. Like I need a stronger than ever. But that was that's why I don't jump now. It's because of that. Like your mind, it makes you like, oh man, is that gonna happen to me again? Is he gonna take me out the air too? So
yeah.
But yeah, that was the only serious injury I had. I want to say when I tore my meniscus. But the comeback after that, I ended up transferring from that school, and I ended up going to Seminole State, where I made a name for myself. But it was hard to come back. Like I come in, that coach, I love this coach to this day, Don Tooley. It was tough because, like, coming off the injury, you don't trust moves, you don't trust a lot of things, and the little bumps hurt, and it was just a rough first 5 games. I mean rough. When I mean rough, bro, 0 for 10, 5 turnovers, no rebounds, no assists, and you question yourself. I'm not gonna lie, I question a lot because a lot of people start backing off. A lot of people like, he's injury prone, he's not the same person, and this and that. And that's when I just worked my hardest and turned everything around my freshman and sophomore year.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of reminds me of like DeMarcus Cousins. Like,
yeah,
got hurt. It just seems like he hasn't been able to shake that.
That's what I said. I told people, like, if I were you, I told anybody, like, I'll spend some money on him because the pandemic, he's working out, and he had a whole year of rest now. He finally has a whole year. But a lot of people are not going to spend money on him because they still think he has an attitude and he's injury prone in their eyes. But if I was a GM, I would take him because I think he'll be the best he's been in a while.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting what you said a few minutes earlier. You said how, like, the difference between, like, the last guy on the bench of, like, a professional team and the difference to other guys is they work harder than he does.
Yes.
In regards to that, what would you say, how much of it is just pure God-given talent and how much of it is who works harder than the other?
I would say God-given talent is probably like 25%,
Okay.
You know, because like you gotta think about it, we don't see a LeBron every day. We don't
Mm-hmm.
see a Greek freak every day. You don't see a 7-footer like Kevin Durant, but or with shooting skills like Curry. But what I tell people is they work like it's. You think they just come to the gym and shoot from half court or be able to do this? They work on their skills so much to where it's secondary. It's you know what I mean. So I always told people like people don't realize the last man on the bench matters just as much as the first man on the bench. You get what I'm saying? Because he has to practice with you. If you have a weak link, your chain will break. The chain breaks. There's no championships. There's no winning. There's a lot of argue. There's a lot of negativity now. You know what I mean? So if you just work, you'll be good. But some people are God-given talent, like, but those people waste it too because everything's so easy. You know what I mean? They don't know what it feels like to get up in the morning, work out. Some people just get up and just, I'm good, I can just go. But that takes a toll on them because, you know, that's when injuries start happening and then you get faced with adversity where you have to work out. Because some make it on God-given talent, but they don't progress. Like Andrew Wiggins, God-given.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he hasn't progressed yet. Still, to me, in my eyes, to be that athletic and be that good, he hasn't progressed at all. But he doesn't work hard. You know, if Kobe Bryant tells you you're the next Kobe, why won't you work out with Kobe or, you know, work out in general?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
That's how I feel about it, me personally.
Yeah, it reminds me of Michael Beasley a lot. I think one year it was like I heard it was like him and Durant. They were supposed to be like some of the next best players, and Michael Beasley, he's like out of the NBA now.
Yeah, out of that. Yeah, Michael Beasley. You know, he be there in Atlanta sometimes. So.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's out here a few times. You know, when we run and stuff, and he's just saying like it's a mental with him. You know, depression and stuff like that. So. Yeah, it's more of a mental game, but he's understanding now. He's trying to work his way back in anything that he can. So, but it's just you have to work. You got to be a workhorse. You know what I mean? No matter what, you have to be a workhorse.
Yeah, I hope he can make it back because he was really fun play to watch.
He's very good. I like his game. He's very good. A lot of people, like you said, like you put him in an average gym, he looks amazing. He will kill you. Like he's amazing. But with his peers, it's like. A lot of people get to the league and like, oh, I made it, so I don't have to do as much. I don't have to do this and do that. So, but he realized he does have to do that, you know. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, do you feel like this might sound a little strange, but do you think that there are certain aspects of basketball that can be passed down because that people won't think about? Obviously, everyone knows if you have a father or mother who's very athletic, chances are you're going to be very athletic. But I look at someone like the Curry family where you have Del Curry, fantastic shooter, Seth Curry, fantastic shooter, Steph Curry, the greatest shooter we've ever seen.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, or do you think it's just the environment they grew up in?
I'm gonna say both because you know my biological father, he was great at basketball. Like, he's really good, but he just didn't get those type of opportunities as everyone else. You know, growing up in the hood it was kind of hard for him, but he held his own. Like, he's a great scorer, so I get my natural scoring ability from him. You get what I'm saying? So I believe it is the environment too, because you know Curry. I want to say Curry. His dad was a great shooter, but to be an awesome shooter he is now. You know, you got the facilities. You know, we don't know what he did. They didn't record everything. So we know he works hard, but, like, you got to think about it. Like, I didn't have those type of gym facilities he had. You know, I was shooting on a crate, you know. So he's probably shooting on a gun in Toronto at the time or, you know. But I say it's a little bit of both because some people don't get their parents' genetics sometimes. Like, some people don't get the athleticism. Some people don't get that, but they get one thing. You know what I mean? But some do get the athleticism, but some have to work for it. So it is I want to say it is the environment, and then some of it is parent-based too.
That kind of made me think of, this is kind of off topic, but when you mentioned like the facilities they have and the training, kind of like the argument I know I hear a lot for baseball players when they compare them to like Babe Ruth or like some of the old pitchers is that they came up practicing in yards versus now and they have these facilities over years and years where they grow that skill. so it's hard to debate the best.
Right. With that, like, you got to be realistic. Like, I'm a realistic person. So if, let's say Jordan, right? Michael Jordan. If Jordan has the same stuff LeBron has, and Jordan was doing it without what LeBron has, you don't think Michael could still be the greatest of all time? In my opinion, I say yes, because the stuff we have today is very advanced. Like, you can get in a cold machine and be ready the next day. Jordan and them had to get in the ice bath and still have aches and pains. You know what I'm saying? So it's different stuff that you could take that you won't get hurt or that can help you come back faster. So Jordan had that. There's no telling what he could have done. You know what I'm saying, with the stuff he had back then versus now. So I feel like if we take all the old players, put them in the modern day, the real good ones, you know, the Magics, the Bird, and stuff like that, you never know what you would have got from them because it's stuff that can help them. Like, Bird had 3 back surgeries. You don't know, they could have gave Bird a special back brace or a certain massage or a certain pill or shot to help him with his back to where he can play longer. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the GOATs are set in stone. I go by era, you know. It goes Jordan for the 90s, Kobe's 2000, Bron 2010s, on out. So, you know, it's up to KD and Giannis now. So stuff like that.
And the people back then, like, Jordan was playing in an era, well, like you said, wasn't as medically advanced. Also, they used to play 3 straight games, like 3 nights.
Right. There's no load management. You know what I mean? So back then, it was, you got to imagine, if you gave Jordan load management with the mindset he has and the intensity he plays the game, there's no telling what he could have did. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people don't take into consideration. They just go about, oh, Jordan played this talent, LeBron played this talent. You got to go about the overall game. You know, if they had the same medical attention that LeBron gets, and, you know, so on down, it'll be scary. I would say Jordan would have been even scarier because he's already scary off raw talent. You know what I mean? So,
and my mindset's always been with that argument. People are saying that Jordan can't play in today's era. One, he dropped 50 points when he was like 40-something.
40, yes.
Playing against players that LeBron in a couple years would have been playing. And also,
that's true.
If DeMar DeRozan, who has an identical play style to Michael Jordan, can be a star in this league, no way.
That's what I was telling people. Like, all you got to do is look at because Kobe's my favorite. Like, when he died, I was hurt. Like, you know, I was hurt. I didn't say anything for like 4 days straight. I was hurt. So if Kobe killed this era, right? Jordan's the best of it. Kobe's the remix. So if Jordan would dominate this era. You know what I mean? Because there's no Detroit Pistons to beat him up. There's not a lot of people to hand check him, and it's free rules. Like, you can't touch anybody now. So, and he plays defense. A lot of the stars now don't play defense. You know what I mean? So
Trae Young.
Yeah. For example, Trae Young and stuff like that. But I told people it's 2 types of defense. It's on-ball defense and it's passing lane defense. If you could play either one, you're good. But Jordan played on-ball defense. So it's a toss-up. Like I told him, he would kill this era. Me personally, I never seen Jordan. I grew up on Kobe, so from watching that documentary, I realistically think Jordan could average 45. Exactly what James is doing, 45. You know, and probably multiple back-to-back championships, multiple. Because he's the type to just take your heart, bro. Like, he takes your heart, and he has, like, you could be his best friend, and on the court he doesn't know you. So,
I mean, go back to an old Jordan game and look at the spacing on the court. Everyone is clogged up in the paint.
It's clogged up. Yeah, that's what I say. It's like, and when he drives, it's like everything collapses. Now it's like it's open. It's so open now. So you give Jordan all that space to work is crazy. In his mindset and watching that stuff, Jordan will kill this era. They might say it's better talent, it's better this, but Jordan played defense. He was so competitive, bro. It was so competitive that he wouldn't let you kill him. You know what I mean? So that's why I was telling people, like, Jordan's just different, bro. That's the only person I've seen that, like, Kobe's different, but Jordan just is the meaning of, like, different. It's crazy how different he is. His work ethic, his mind, and his creativity is crazy. Like, yeah, he didn't pass. Yeah, he didn't do this. But he did pass when he needed to.
And he was a great passer.
He's a great passer. He's just not a Magic Johnson or a LeBron. He's just a cold-blooded killer, and I love that. I love that. Like,
It wasn't in his job description to be a type passer like LeBron or
right. That's what I was telling people. Like, you got to think about Jordan was never a passer. He just made the right plays.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like Kobe made the right plays. Like, you criticizing them for taking so many shots, but let's be realistic. The two people that took all those shots, they won.
Yep.
I'm not saying you're supposed to do that, but it's a way to do it.
It worked.
Like you know, it worked for them. You know, James is trying to do it, but I told him James Harden would probably never win a ring because he doesn't buy into defense yet. You know what I mean? He's all about getting the 40 with the 10 and 10, but at the end of the day, you still have to play defense if you're the best player. You're gonna have to play defense.
I just don't feel like his play style really translates to the
It doesn't. Any team that played with D'Antoni has not been good. And there's no shot, no disrespect to D'Antoni or whatever, but
they've had great stats, but
but their defensive stats are not that good. You know what I mean? You gotta look back way back in the Steve Nash era. They were good regular season, but they never got over that hump.
They're exactly
same thing with the Knicks. They never got over that hump. Yeah. Same thing with the Rockets now. They're never going to get over that hump until they buy into the defensive. You know, what if your threes aren't going in? What if your shots aren't going in, period? Like, how else are you going to win? You have to play defense. And the only one that plays defense to me on that team is P.J. Tucker. Russell Westbrook, too. P.J. Tucker, Russell Westbrook. The rest of them are just –
was there. He was playing.
Yes, he was. He was playing defense. And you get Rob Covington, he's going to play defense, which – I've spent a lot of summers with him in Chicago too.
Oh, cool.
Playing with him and working out with him and stuff like that. He's a very down-to-earth person, a very humble guy too.
He's a really good player.
Yeah, he's a really good player. And everybody thinks he's not good. But I've seen him in person. He kills, you know what I mean? It's just the level. Like, you got to some people are just better than you. That's what it is. Like, but if you work harder, you'll be just as good as them. But he's a really good player. He's a great shooter. Contested, not contested. He's a great on-ball defender.
Yeah, the Rockets and the Suns, they're both obviously coached by D'Antoni. They have a very eerily similar history throughout the playoffs and just like, you know, revolutionary offenses that like are putting up all these points and they make a deep playoff run, but as soon as they match a contender, for the Suns it was usually the Spurs.
Yeah.
Rockets, it was the Warriors. And to be fair, if Chris Paul didn't like tear his hamstring, who knows what would happen.
Who knows? That's why I tell people, but you got to realize Iggy got hurt the game before that, so who knows what would have happened too. So like I tell people, like, they're good enough to get it to the playoffs and make it to the Western Conference final. Yes, but to get over that hump, your coach has to be smarter than the next coach, and your players have to buy into that. Like, what I like about Steve Kerr, his players buy into that. And he was so mad at Kevin Durant because Kevin would not shoot more than what he shot. But that's the Kevin Durant we know. You know what I mean? He's very efficient. He'll take 15 shots and end up with 30. That's just Kevin, you know. But it's just they have to buy in. Like, that's all I think D'Antoni. Like, I would play for the Rockets, but I'll be more of a leader on the defensive end. You know what I'm saying? I can score the ball flat out, whatever, but I would prove to them, like, just play defense and we'll probably get to that championship era.
Yeah,
so,
just like you said, like the problem they ran into, if your shots aren't going in, what's going to happen? Game 7, they missed
they missed a lot of threes. They missed a lot of threes, live and die by the three, and they didn't realize that Kevin Durant was killing them in the mid-range area. You know what I mean? Steph and Clay were shooting the long balls, but Kevin was in the mid-range. That's why I tell people that's a lost art of the game right now. To me, you have to be a 3-level scorer. You know, get to the basket, shoot the mid-range, shoot the three. That's what I pride myself on, 3-level scorer and playing defense. You know, for example, I look at a lot of Kawhi Leonard. He's a winner to me. Like, I look at winners, you know what I mean? He's another modern Jordan. You know, he gets to the mid-range, he scores, he plays defense, and he can shoot the long ball. So stuff like that is what I would tell people. You have to have. If you don't have a mid-range, you might as well just chalk the game up, because you're not going to always be able to get to the basket, and your threes aren't. Let's be realistic. Threes are not going to go in every time. You know.
Yes, sure.
I want to get back to, you were talking about eras, and I really like what you said about how you just kind of look at eras rather than comparing like Bill Russell to Hakeem Olajuwon or something like that.
Yeah.
Pointless.
It's different.
That's why I had a debate with like my close friends and people that I talk to every day. Like, I don't do the GOAT conversation because 9 times out of 10 we weren't around, so we really don't know. Like, okay, we could watch a documentary, 9 episodes, that still doesn't tell us anything, but he dominated that era. Even coming into the 2003, he was still, he was old, but with the Wizards, he was still, you knew Jordan was Jordan. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and then after that, he passed the torch to Kobe a little bit, and then it flew up to LeBron a little bit, but then Kobe just ran off with it. You know what I mean? And then he passed it to Bron. So that's what I say. Like, I don't go by GOATs because all those players you named, Bill Russell dominated his era. Will Chamberlain dominated his. You know what I mean? It just, Hakeem did dominate, but he just ran into Jordan. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they don't realize just ran into Jordan. Like, Starks ran into Jordan, Reggie Miller ran it. And people don't know Reggie Miller had a chance to go to the finals twice. He went to the finals against the Lakers, but he ran into a Jordan replica, which was Kobe. So it was hard, and Jordan knocked him out. So, like, it's domination. Like, Jordan just dominated his area with Charles Barkley, Isaiah Thomas, Magic and Bird. Those two dominated their era. So it's just eras for me. Like, I don't personally have a GOAT. If I said I had a GOAT, it'll be Kobe because I grew up and I watched him.
Yeah.
So that's what I just go by domination, and it speaks on the wins. And Kobe has lost, yes, but there was a time where Kobe was on a tear for 40 points against everybody in the league, 40 to 60 points against everybody in the league.
Wow.
So, that's he's dominating world-class athletes, just like LeBron, because to this day, I still can't figure out how he's so good, because to me, he's a smart passer, but, like, I don't see, like, skills, you know what I mean? I just see, like, strongness with LeBron. Like,
yeah, he's a tank.
It's just, it's just straight bully, like, straight go through. So it's just like, but I realize he's a smart person. Like, he might not have the credentials as Jordan and Kobe, but he's a somewhat of a winner too. He knows how to win regular season. It's just hard for him to win championships because you go against, the KDs who takes that extra step. Like I told people in the playoffs, you have to take that extra step. Your best players go somewhere that you don't go, and that's how you really win. You know what I mean? He did that one time I saw that when Miami was about to lose to Boston. He went to a different place.
Yeah.
So.
And I think what you said was like growing up and seeing the players play, I think is a huge factor in people debating who's the greatest. Because we all know about the guys like the Giannis's and the Hardens.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you go back to like the 60s and all that. You have like our grandfathers and all that bringing up stuff like
we arguing with them, but we don't know nothing about that. But they've been through the whole era, so they can tell us. But us being so young, we don't listen. For the longest, it had to take me to realize that Jordan was better than Kobe. For the longest, I thought Kobe, because I grew up on Kobe. So you can't tell me something I don't know. Like, this is my Jordan. So I don't. But if you can only see tapes and what people say, you know what I mean? We don't know. Like, a couple years from now, people are going to be like, oh, KD's the GOAT, but because that's who they grew up on. Steph is the GOAT. That's who they grew up on. Giannis is the GOAT. They didn't get to see. They're seeing last of Bron. You know what I mean? They didn't get to see the Kobe's. They seen the last of Kobe. They didn't get to see what we saw. You get what I'm saying? So it's just, that's always going to be a debate. That's always going to be a debate.
Yeah, I did the same exact thing with LeBron. Like, I love LeBron, and he, like, for the longest time I had him above Jordan, and this was back when I tried to like compare everyone when you really just can't rule change.
You can't. You can with the rules and the style of play and what's going on now. You know what I mean? Everything was different. Like, we don't know if Bron could survive in that area because he wouldn't have the stuff that he has today for his body. If that makes sense. That's why I tell people you can't just drag somebody back in time. We don't know what the time they're different, but we know we can put them forward in the future because we know what we had. That's why I was saying, like, it's kind of a double standard, but I'm just being realistic because you take Bron and put him in the 90s or even the 80s, he doesn't have that type of training. I don't care what, like even Jordan had the training, but he did it with weights. He didn't have like the bands. He didn't have the stuff we have now. So it'll be hard for LeBron. You know what I mean? I feel like it'll be hard because he doesn't have the proper training.
Yeah, and it's just like you can't compare like Shaq and George Mikan.
No, you can't.
George Mikan didn't play with the shot clock, you know?
Right, yeah, you can't. That's why I tell people you can't. Like, it's certain people you just can't put in the same category because you don't know, and rules change. So rules change. Like today's game, it's more of a scoring game. Like we have way better shooters than they ever had ever. You know, you got like half the league is shooting from the logo. I never seen that before. So, you know what I mean? So stuff like that, you can't compare. Like when they said Draymond was like, we'll kill Shaq and them, like what era are we talking about?
Yeah.
Because Shaq and them were dominant in 2003, but if you play him in the long ball era, Shaq can't foul like he would foul normally because he'll be out the game. So it's just ticks and tack, you know.
Also, if you get that Lakers team, you bring them nowadays, and they're able to restructure their team with guys who can space. If you put 3-point shooters around Shaq, we saw what 3-point shooters around like a not as good version of Shaq with Dwight Howard. They went all the way to the finals.
They went all the way to the finals. Yes, you're right. That's what I said. Yeah, that is true. That is true. If you get Shaq shooters, it'll be a lot easier because you can't double. You go double, then you know you're taking a chance. You don't want to take threes are always better than two, realistically. So, but you're right about that. Yeah, you're right. I don't think they would be in the triangle offense as much. I think they'll be in the space and play. You know, high ball screen.
Yeah.
You know,
I would love to see someone like Wilt just play in today's game just to see what.
Yeah,
what
just to see like I said that too because I've seen him run and he runs crazy. Like he really sprints the floor.
Athletic. Yeah.
Like very athletic and everything. I said I want to see how would he dominate the game. Like I said that same thing about Elijah. I want to see if he could dominate the game and stuff like that. But it's just you run into those people till you can't beat. You know, Elijah got two because Jordan wasn't in the league at the time. You know what I mean? He retired. You know, I'm sorry for Barkley didn't get it. You know, Shaq didn't get it at the time. But you run into that one person where you just can't beat. You know, Patrick Ewing couldn't beat him. You know, it's just he dominated era. So it's all about domination.
Yeah, and I think Wilt would do well because he wasn't, unlike Shaq, people think, oh, Wilt was so big and strong, he was just a power player. He was a lot of finesse.
Finesse.
808,
hook finesse.
Finger roll.
Hook shots off the glass. You know, he played very hard. He wasn't always as aggressive as people thought he was. You know what I mean? So you right about that. I believe he could play in this day and era. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with you couldn't back down anyone. It was a charge back then.
Yes.
Even if you backed him down a single foot.
Yeah, it was a charge. Yeah, it was a charge. So he had to learn something to score. You know what I mean? And he did.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're probably gonna have to wrap this up soon, but just real quick, just get some final questions in. What do you think you have to improve on your game to take that next step to the league?
To take the next step, keep working on my athleticism. To be honest, you know, I could dunk the ball and everything, but it's just more of a, like I told you, a mindset. Like for me to do it, I have to be like mad, like the ref made a bad call, or instead of just going in there and a lot of people telling me like, you have the game to play in the league, bro. It's just go in there and dunk on a few people sometimes and stuff like that. So I'll say that in ball handling. Like I've been working on ball handling crazy since this pandemic because you can't get in the gym. So I've been working on ball handling crazy. I've been tuning my body up. So because I was like 230. So now I'm like 215, but it's solid. No, like 212 solid though. No fat or nothing like that. So it's just, those are the two things I've been focusing on in this pandemic right now.
Gotcha.
Y'all have anything else?
I think I'm good. We'll keep our eyes out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you, man. I enjoyed it.
Do you want to just say your social media so we can tag them at the end?
Oh, yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Tatabug, TATTA_BUG3. And it's the same for, I want to say, Twitter. I think it's the same. Yeah, it should be the same for Twitter. Facebook is my name, Dante Taterbug Bailey, and then Snapchat is my full name, Dante Bailey, DanteBailey. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was
All right.
great.
Thank you.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck to you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.
All
See
right.
you, man.
You too, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.